Alright, so cleaning up your house and life. I find that objects, computer files, anything that we can own and have, we can build an attachment to, and these things become difficult to throw away, and they represent different cycles and phases and times of our life. Maybe it's things you had as a child, for example, the childhood phase, various toys that you really loved. You'll have an emotional kind of connection to these things where it'll feel difficult to throw them away. Maybe you have some other thing like a failed project or a failed business venture or something, and it's difficult to throw things away related to that, even though you've gone beyond it, or you've etc. Another thing is addictions. If you just say you have, take the addiction of smoking, for example, smoking paraphernalia, lighters, cigarette paper, old tobacco or something like that. That could be hard to throw away due to an addiction. But I find that, firstly, I find you have to clear the addiction, or it's good to emotionally disconnect first and to process that. One way is just to kind of go over it, to tell yourself, I'm never going to use this again, or I'm done with that phase of life. I don't need this holding me back. And there's always going to be ideas like, well, maybe this, maybe that, and maybe you don't want to be too hasty about throwing things away. You can get to the point where you just want to throw everything away. You just want to clean everything, and it gets to the point where you lose resources because of it. Maybe you had some scrap stuff that you could have made something out of, whatever. So it is good to actually, really meditate over it. But you kind of, you get to a point where it's like, well, this shirt is too small, and unless you're going to use it for fabric, or just either throw it away or give it to someone. It's always good to give things away if you can, because then it's like someone else gets use out of it, or to sell things. That can sometimes help you. It's like, well, I've sold this, you just have to relax your heart, but otherwise you just have to delve into your heart and really feel through those emotions and accept it. It's almost like you're telling the younger version of yourself, it's okay, that time is over, and things got to move on. Old friends can be a bit like this. You can outgrow old people, friends and other people and such in your life. Old houses and locations where you need to move on. You need to change. But you're tied to the past, and such. So it's good to kind of sort through your emotions first, because otherwise the worst thing is when you've moved on, or you've thrown something out, and then you've got that pooling still, and you haven't sorted out and worked out your emotions. So it's good to do that first. I find in a house, if you close all the doors and windows, for example, or you close most of them, then you're more or less breathing in the air of the house, which is, it's going to be made up of the dust and the dirt and whatever else, the dirtiness there. If it's a dirty house, the air is going to be dirty, and then you're going to take that on and become dirty, So I find it's good to clean as well as you can. Get rid of anything useless, Make sure that you can get to every area of your house if possible. Now, of course, if you live with others who are unclean people, it's very difficult to do this effectively, I find. Especially people who are like kind of lower level people who are, so to speak, sick or ill or weak or dirty in more metaphorical ways, but they could be physically those things, will make, they'll have a messy room, they'll And depending on how much force they have within the house will be how difficult it is to clean it, because you'll get to the point where you have to clean 4 times as hard because you have that person who's just so ridiculously messy and lazy and such. And this, again, a person who is internally damaged, internally just not at a very good level within themselves, will have an external world which is bad. Or a person who's internally demonic, you know, who's got a lot of addictions and demons and such, and bad thoughts. So you can judge a person by their house, you can judge a person by their car. Everything's an analogy of a person. Similarly, your house would be an analogy of you. If you're a good person, you'll find the garden will get better. But if you're kind of surrounded by bad people, or you're a bad person, weeds will grow everywhere, and it's just not so good. So you got to do the best you can. Of course, you know, it's not healthy to live on a sick house, but you have to do what you can to clean. If there are others causing a lot of mess. And the planes of the house, for example, there's the ground, which you use a vacuum cleaner, or you clean with if you can get a steam cleaner, they're really good. Definitely one of the best things to clean almost everything with that, is steam cleaner. You got the bottom plane, you got the walls, so the front, back, left and right walls. You can just dry brush them, you can also wet wash them. And you got the roof. Again, the roof doesn't get too dirty, same way the walls don't get too dirty. Mostly it's just the bottom planes, kitchen counters, benches and tables, and floors and all that kind of stuff. The bathroom walls can get fairly dirty, and the kitchen walls can, because there's a lot of moisture and all volatile oils and all that. But yeah, if you can get like a long stick with like some scrubbers or something on it, like one of those, they're good for the walls and the roof and all that. So yeah, basically 4 planes. And I find that bugs will form in dirt. It's like that's their material. They form out of dark material, and they just appear there. So that's that's an interesting thing. So if you keep areas clean and you clean out all those, then you won't have many bugs. Or you clean out all the little bug hives and all that, and then you won't have things will be a lot better. And bugs leave their corpses, which form more. It gives it more material to form more bugs. This is not a good thing all around. So if you can clean it, that's why it's good to be able to reach all the places in a house. Because if you can, then wow, you won't get any, because the edges, a lot of dirt builds up in edges and corners. That's really where things start to go wrong. And you can think cleaning is a very spiritual thing as well. You will feel good if you clean the roof. Your head will feel clean. If you feel the ground, your feet will feel clean. It's an analogy to you. Your house is an analogy to you. The kitchen is the heart. The bathroom is the bladder area, etc. You can think, the study is the mind. The backyard is more the legs and the feet and all this. But anyway, if you study enough natural philosophy and occultism, you will understand a house and how it works. So that's all. I'll leave you with that. Of course, feel free to check the links in the description if you're interested. And as always, have a nice day.